Hey guys, Gathering Magic back again, and this is part two of the Card Market Watch for September 28th, 2025. So this is where we do a deep dive into the market, kind of look at where prices are at and how many are currently on the market. So we're starting with alpha. So these are alpha commons. You can see they've come down in price quite a bit, the low end. We've got several cards that are under 20 cents a piece. So if it's one of those things where you're a collector, and you just want to own like just one copy of the original set in Splinterlands, this is a great time to pick up just a few cards for just pennies a piece. As you can see here, the cheapest card 14 cents, Silver Shield Warrior, 30 total on the market. And your most expensive common alpha is Crustacean King at only 55 cents. So those are the commons. Moving to the rares, now you've got a few under a dollar. Stone Golem is sitting there at 93 cents. That is your cheapest rare card. Most expensive is $4.30 for Medusa. Just take a look at the Archons. So your Tyrus is at $1.09, Malric at $1.15, Zintar at $1.35, Ulrich at $2.17, and Liana at $3.49. Moving to the epics, Dark Enchantress at $3.49 is the cheapest, and then $9.95 for the Screaming Banshee. And then finally your legendary cards, Angel of Light is the cheapest at $30. Most expensive, Lord of Darkness at $197, and that is for a max copy. So you can see here there's 3 max copies on the market, and then a level 2. So those are your regular foil alpha cards. And now, if you move to the gold foils, what I mentioned in part 1, couple cards here that are fairly cheap. I mean, Spineback Turtle is sitting there at $8 for a single card, or you can pick up a level 5, which is only 2 copies combined for 16. So basically both $8 a piece. So if it's one of those things where you've never owned an alpha gold foil card, I have one. And just for an example, here's the Feral Spirit. I purchased this when it was under $10. I think it was $8 a couple months ago, and now there's one listed for $66. So the market is very thin on these. As you can see, a lot of them are only single copies or just a handful available. So if you can pick up, I would say, any of these under 20 bucks, it's probably, a pretty good deal. Plus you get to own an original, alpha gold card. I mean, how cool is that? But those are the commons that are for sale. And at least one of all 20 is listed. Now look at the rares. That's it. So the rares got wiped out in the last couple weeks because there should be, or there could be, 20 rares in the set that could be listed, but there's only 6 available. And look at this, single copies of all these, 2 of the Soldier, and 2 of Clay Golem. These are the only alpha rare gold foils on the marketplace currently. Moving to epics, there are, is it 10 epics? Yeah, 10 epics in the set. Only 3 are listed. You can see here 199 for Swamp Thing, 200 for Defender of Truth, and 498 for Mischievous Mermaid. And then finally your legendaries, there is one single copy of Lord of Darkness gold foil for 1450. Okay, moving on to your promo cards. So these are all the promos. Regular foil, you can see here Dragon Whelp $8.75 for the common, rare is at $23.22. The epic is actually cheaper than the rare at $20.25, and then Shinlo is at $2.99. And then your gold foil versions, the only ones available, I'll let the correct graphics load. No common gold foil. The rare is going for $100, the epic for $9.99, and then gold foil Shinlo for $1,333. So those are your alpha cards. All right, let's move on to beta, just the core and reward. Regular foil commons, 4 cents. There's 2 of them at 4 cents, and then they're 5 cents and up for the commons. All the way to the most expensive currently is Cobalt Miner, sitting at only 20 cents. Next are your beta rares. So now you're looking at 22 cents and up for a beta rare. Chicken is sitting at 24 cents. We'll take a look at the archons in a minute, have them separate so it's easier to see. Alric is $1.70. It's the most expensive rare, and it's also the most expensive archon currently. Malric, 27 cents. Liana at 28. Zentar, 34. Tyrus at 49 cents. The next for your epic cards, now you're looking at 66 to 72 cents are the cheapest beta epics. And your most expensive currently is Talia Firestorm at $4.63. And then finally your legendary cards. Sacred Unicorn is $4.30. All the way up to Hydra is at $95.07. And that is for a max copy. So look here on the market. All these available are max copies. So you've got 8 max level Hydras on the marketplace. So just under $100 for a maxed out Hydra. Angel of Light at $44.63. That is for an individual copy. So there's 4 single copies, right around $44, $45 a piece. But if you want a max level one, you can get a max level for just under $100, which is about $9 a card. And then some other key cards. Valnamor sitting at 37, Plato at 35, Prince Renan 34.38, Cryptmancer at 32.50, and that is for a single card. But as you can see here, you could get a max level for about $236, which is about $21 a card. So this card has come up because I remember recently this card was about under $10 a copy, 8 to 10. So he's really gone up in the last few weeks. I thought he was underpriced. Now it seems like he's about where he should be. Lord of Darkness, speaking of underpriced, at only $9.50. So these are the ones currently available. So you can get, oh wow, that to me is a deal. So if anyone is looking for a deal, a max level Lord of Darkness for $75 or just under $7 a card. So that is probably the deal of the week right there. Okay, let's look now at the gold foil versions. So your gold foil commons for betas tend to start right around $2, and that's where we're currently at right now, $1.90 to $2 for a gold common beta. All the way up to, let's see what the most expensive one is currently. Silver Shield Knight with Inspire and Piercing for $5.55. So you can see these start at level 4, not level 3. Gold rares, now you're looking at right around $8 is the floor for those. Chicken at $13.99. We'll take a look at the Archons in a minute, and then the ridiculous, I don't want to sell it price at $2,200. Okay, let's look at the Archons. So, as you can see, only 4 of the 5 are available in gold foil, ranging from $14 up to $79, and that is for a single copy. So very, very pricey. So it makes these seem like a steal at $14 and $15. This is for level 2 or level 4, so 2 copies of this card. So $27.28 for this gold foil. Yeah, either these are overpriced or these are very underpriced. I'll let you guys decide. Next is the epics. So now you're looking at $35, $40 is the floor for a gold epic, all the way up to $250. And then finally your legendary gold foils, $400 for Korjak, up to $10,000 for the Sacred Unicorn. Of course, this is the only one on the market. Most of these are individual copies, as you can see on the marketplace. All right, so let's look next at your promo cards. So these are the regular foil promos for beta. So the Summoner or Archon Delwyn sitting at 19 cents. Dragongling Bowman, the rare, 41 cents. Fiendish Harpy Epic at 302. Red Dragon at $6.17. And then Archmage Arius and Prince Julian at $666. Your gold foil, Delwyn at $4.99. Dragongling Bowman at $19, and Fiendish Harpy at $145. All right, let's look at Orb. So this right here is your entire Orb set. So you can see commons 4 to 15, your rares 22 to 59, your 2 epic cards $1.71 and $2.72, and then your 3 legendaries, $4.43 for Lord of Fire, Minotaur Warlord at $4.90, and Corrupted Pegasus at $12.48. Your entire set just right there. And then golds, so you can see here 10 of the 12 cards are available in gold. The only ones missing are one of the legendary cards, and then the healer is not listed. Every other card is listed here. So those are your gold foil orb cards. Moving to Untamed, Core and Reward. Starting with your commons, of course, just a penny. Up to... currently, the Goblin Fireballer is 18 cents. He's the most expensive common. Your rares start 4 cents for Luminous Eagle. And we'll check out the Archons in a minute. And the most expensive is Shield Bearer at 83 cents. Is that for a single copy? That's pretty high for a single copy. Yes, it is. You can see 83 cents and then jumps to $1 for the Shield Bearer. Looking at the Archons. Look at how cheap these are. 12 cents a piece. This is very cheap because usually Bortus is the most expensive with that -1 magic. So it's kind of weird to see him at 12 cents. So once again, for survival mode, if there's anyone interested in picking up Archons for survival, don't forget to check these things out, like especially him. Pyre's usually the cheapest, and this one's at 44 cents. And that is for individual copies, so that +1 speed. But these are your Archons for the rare slot. Next for your epics, Evangelist is 15 cents. All the way to Sorcerer at 64 cents. And then finally your legendary cards start at $1.27 for the Ancient Lich. All the way to your key cards. So Kitty's at 31. Llama, like I said, under 20 bucks at 18. Jotun, I think, is a great pickup if you don't own one, at 15. Cornelius at 8. And look at this, Mimosa Nightshade, $4. Another card, I think, if you don't own it. If I had the DEC available right now, I would buy this card, along with the Lear Deep Swimmers. You can see I don't own these cards, so if I had some spare DEC, I would definitely pick these up. And Chancius, too, for under $6. You know, to get a legendary summoner from Arcane, or from Untamed, you know, under $6, wow. Because packs, I think, are still going for, what did I say, 5 in part 1. So cheaper than the cost of a pack, you could just pick up a legendary Archon. Or you could pick up one of these legendaries too. You know, Dragon Jumper for 3, Dark Hound for 3, Magnor for $2.30. So a lot of very good cards to round out your collection. And once again, there's just so much to buy. If I had, you know, the funds, I would definitely love to collect and have at least one of each of these just to have a set. Okay, let's move on to golds. So now your golds are just under 50 cents. You're going 45, 46 cents for the cheapest common cards. All the way up to $1.64 for the Undead Badger. For your rares, looking at just under $2 for a gold rare. All the way up to $9.90 for the Unicorn Mustang. And then gold foil Archons, $2 to $5.87 for Drake of Arnak. So you can see here Bortus is one of the most expensive. So it's funny, this is the most expensive regular foil, but it's the cheapest gold foil. So it might be a good pickup here, either of these two, for right around $2 a piece. Gold epics, now you're looking at $9 to $10 for the floor here. All the way up to the chief that's sitting at 40. And then finally your legendary gold foils start at $82 for the Diamond Dragon. All the way up to Scale Doctor at $649, Kitty at $579, Jotun at $418.99, Llama $345, Kron $319, Mimosa $249, Lear at $200, Chancius at just under $160. Those are some of the key gold legendaries. Okay, let's look at your promo cards. So these are the promos for Untamed. Halfling Alchemist, 71 cents. The Chain Golem at 21.28. Is that an individual? Yes, for individual copies. Gold Foil Halfling Alchemist, 39.99. Gold Foil Chain Golem, 97.50. And Mighty Dricken at 1.99. No gold foil available there. Okay, moving to dice. So your common cards, 2 to 10 cents. Your rares, which are your Archons, Vera and Quid, 12-15 cents. Bright and Bloom at 20. Oster at 48. Lorna Shine at 58. And then Mylor at 61. Your 3 epic cards here. And then finally your legendary cards, Crowless under 8 at 7.60, and Epona at $8.05. So these cards fluctuate wildly. You know, they can be in the mid, $12 to $15 for a while. This one can hit 20. Crowless I've seen at 20 before, but definitely just if you are interested in these cards, definitely check the market often because these cards, these legendaries, do fluctuate pretty wildly. Okay, gold commons. Now you're looking at 45 to 89 cents for the commons. $2.30 to $8.45 for the golds. Your epics, basically 11 to about 15. And then your gold legendaries, $80 for the Oaken Behemoth, up to $1,000 for Poseidon. Okay, next let's go to Chaos Legion core and reward cards. Of course, you guys know these will be pennies. Just a single cent for most of them. Up to 3 cents for the Chaos Agent and Scavo Hireling. Moving to the rares. Some of the rares are even under 2 cents. All the way to, look at how cheap these Archons are. 6 cents, 6 cents, 7, 8, and 13 for Kelia. God, remember when this was $3 or $4 per card? A couple years ago? Crazy. 13 cents. Your epics, 7, 8 cents. Let it load the correct graphics. There we go. All the way to 14 cents for Igor. And then finally your legendary cards, down under 40 cents now for a few of them. Look at this, Oceanus at 38 cents. Says there's 116 on the market. How many are actually out there? 48,000 for that legendary. And then these go all the way to $1.54 for Immortalis. All right, now for the gold foils. Gold foil commons, so 13 cents is the floor. Up to 62 cents for Scavo Hireling. Now, how many max copies are there for people that are interested in putting these on land? What prices are we looking at? So look at this, guys. So under $5. Now, the reason these are the cheapest is because they're neutral. One thing I've thought about recently, and I've mentioned this, I'm beginning to appreciate more and more the value of neutrals for the simple fact that I've had to, at least in my experience with land, move a lot of my workers from one plot to another for different reasons. And the real limiting thing is if you pick a specific splinter, sometimes you want to move them from one to another and they'll hit that negative 50% bonus. I'm really leaning towards starting to pick these up because I can put these anywhere. Now I won't get that extra 10% bonus that you would for using the correct splinter, but just the ability to transfer these anywhere and have no penalty wherever I move them is really starting to make me think, maybe I should start picking these up. So might be, a good thing if you, especially if you have a lot of land and you are having to move your workers around just because you need more grain or you're short a certain resource. Sometimes you're not able to swap just any of the things that you have that are splinter specific. So keep that in mind. Okay, that being said, so we're looking at $5 is the cheapest. So you can see there's quite a few up under $7. But there's only 1, 2, there is 13 of this one max, so that's good. So there are a few out there, not very many, but yes, there are good prices here with these, a pretty good amount of these being under $6. So let's look now at the rares. First, let's look at all levels. So basically 75 to 80 cents is the floor for gold rare. All the way up to $1.48 for my Selic infantry. And then once again, how many max levels are there for these? So now you're looking at General Sloan at 18, and then it jumps to 20. So you have a water and fire for right around 20. A dragon for 21. Death and fire for getting close to 22. Earth for 22. So for the most part, you're looking at $22 to $25 is the floor for a maxed gold rare. So these are the ones that are available. Okay, let's go to my favorite, the epics. So once again, cheapest epics that you're looking at. This one right here is neutral. Surprisingly, an earth one is the cheapest. So $3.50. So there's quite a few under $4. Very good variety of these under $4. In fact, almost all of them are under $5 except for Necrosi. This is the only one that's above that, and that's only because there's really not a single card here. You can see single cards you're selling $3.60 to $3.90 range. The only individual ones they have listed is for $9. Like I said, I love the flexibility of being able to use these one at a time for only 1,000 DEC each and getting 600 production points. So they're not too bad. They're actually a little bit cheaper than they have been in the last month or so, where they have been in that 5 to 7 range. And then let's take a look at the max level. So now you're looking at $36. Look at this. Death has the cheapest one. So if you have death plots, if you got bogs or swamps out there, definitely pick those up. $36, $37 for max level. Neutral for $37.64. But most of them, as you can see, are still in that $40 to $50, well, $40 to $45 range. So very tight range. $40, $45 for a max gold epic. And then finally your gold legendaries. So they're still, well, they're still holding 20. Actually, they're holding above $23 a piece. And the most expensive is only $43.26. So very tight range, $23 to $43 for a gold legendary. And then if you're looking out to max one, looking right around $100 up to $160 for Immortalis. So most of these are $100 to $120 for a max gold foil Chaos Legion legendary card. And there's actually a decent amount of these too. A couple of them, 16, 11. Some of them, only single copies, but, for a max copy, decent amount of these on the marketplace. Okay. So So that's it for the regular. Let's look at the Soulbound. So your Soulbound Chaos Legion, 7 to 19 cents. For your commons, your rares, 33 cents to 59. Your epics, $1.30. Maxed out one is just under 50. And then your legendaries, ranging from $5.30 up to $83.16. Gold foil, $1.31 to 5. Rares, $4.50. Surprised the Marks Red is the cheapest, and then Lob is at 43. Your epics, only 4 available, ranging from $25 to $40. And your legendaries, Gold Avis at 85 to Ava at 185. All right, let's look now at the promos. So these are your promo cards. So Archimus is at 4 cents, Peruse at 11, Zerial at 5, Oshur down to 7, Dr. Blight at 7.39. Look at the Waka that I mentioned earlier. That was what, 42.50. Now the cheapest is 59. So hopefully someone took advantage of that from watching the Market Watch Part 1. And Lux Vega is 116.90. And your gold foil versions, Archimus 90 cents, Verus $1, Gold Dr. Blight at 35, Oshur at 39.99, Gold Zerial 41.47, and a Gold Lux Vega for 3,200. Okay, let's move to Rift Watchers. So Rift Watchers, 1 to 4 cents for your commons. Your rares, look at this, Corsair Boson, which I think is one of the better ones. 2 cents, really? He's usually up here with Queen of Crows and Tinderlock. So you can see here 10 cents, 16 cents. Runic Skyclaw is the most expensive rare at 37 cents, but very surprised to see this one down to 2. Your epics, Dallin is sitting at 18 cents. Then Ilthane is sitting at $1.39. And then finally your legendaries from Rift Watchers, 60 cents. All the way up to Inevitable is at $12.83. Look at this, Coral Lurker at $2.45. Okay, the gold foil versions, Lycan Beast at 15 cents. Septic Slime is at 54 cents. Your rares, Corsair Boson, also the cheapest gold foil at 90 cents. Techno Wizologist at 3.80. Look at this, a gold Tinderlock for under $1. That's another good buy, I think. Epics, Dallin 4.40, up to Thispa at 66.44. And then finally your gold legendary cards, Agar Longtail at just under $28. And look at this, Kane Haste is the most expensive at 90. And there is no gold foil Inevitable. All the other ones are represented here. And let's see, how many of these are actually in circulation? So 140 of Kane Haste. That is not a lot for gold legendary. Immolation 106. Flore 263. So there's not very many of these out there. Searek 133. Runemancer 241. So yeah, about 120 to 240 of each of these on the market, or in circulation total. Okay, let's move to Rebellion. So let's look at some core Rebellion cards, starting with the commons. So 2 cents up to some of the Archons are now 34 to 57 cents a piece. So you'll notice a lot of the Rebellion cards have come down. 6 to 8 cents are the cheapest rares, all the way up to 90 cents for the Soothsayer. Your epics, 30 cents for Karst Harpy, all the way up to, surprising, Core is up to $2.97, most expensive epic. And then finally your legendary cards. I went through some of the key cards in part 1, but you can just see here the prices of the other ones, and then how many are in circulation on the marketplace. So decent amount on the market. Looks like at least 15-20 copies of most of these. But you can see the prices have come down. Like Lorcas was like 40-45, Kitty was 50-60. Venka is about the same, between 20-25. The other ones are holding 15-18 range. A Rage really did come down from 20 down to 10. This card I see all the time. I'm surprised it's $5. This is such a powerful card with that 5 bomb coming at you. Okay, and then the gold versions, your gold commons, a couple under 60 cents, but still not too bad. 60 cents. Up to your archons, or the pricey ones, range from 567 up to 802. Your gold rares, looking at basically $1.50 on up to $9.10 for Avena of the Wolf. Your gold epics, starting at just under $7 for the Red Worm Hatchling, up to $77.99. This has got to be a max. Yep, a couple max copies for right around $78. And then the gold legendaries, went through a lot of these in part 1, so you guys can see the prices here. 6, 7, 3 of each on the market, so not very many. Looks like under 10 for all of these on the marketplace. All right, so let's go now to the reward cards. So these cards are ending pretty soon, probably in the next month, less than 30 days to go. We're going to have the new reward card set, so if you guys haven't gotten your cards to the level you want, time is winding down very quickly. You can see here the commons go from 7 to 10 cents. Your rares, 25 cents to 39. Your epics, which I think are the best part of the set, $1.59 for the Weaver to $2.08 for the Night Reaper. And then your legendary cards, $9.24 for the Endless Gibbon, all the way up to almost $20 for Ember Guard. And then the gold versions, $2.44 to $3.14 for your commons. Your rares, $8.53 to $14.28 for Dark Arborist. $36 to $85 for the Blade. No gold Weaver. Huh, maybe I bought them all. And no legendaries. Okay, let's look next at the promo cards. So the promo cards we went through in part 1. We went through all the prices for the regular and gold foils. So I'll just kind of scroll through this so you guys can see how many of each of these are currently on the market. I wish they still on the front had the total amount of supply. But now you have to actually click on the card and go to the next page to see the numbers that were minted. But yeah, the deal I think of all of these is Manaroth being under 15. That one has really come down. And you can see there's quite a few under 15. And then he gets back to 21, 22. But even like a max copies, you're looking at, you know, wow, look at that, under $12 a copy. So he has really come down in price. And there's only 1,200 in circulation, so there's not like there's that many of them. Just for fun, how many gold foil Manaroths are there? So you've got 4 on the market, and there's only 113 in circulation. Yeah, $100 is not bad with there only being 113. Okay, so that is it for those. Now, Conclave Arcana. Let's just look at the extra card first. So the Arena Fanatic is up to $1.37. For the core cards, you can see they start at 2 to 3 cents. For the commons, all the way up to 7 cents. So commons are very affordable. The rares, 11 cents for the Oracle. all the way up to how are the archons doing. So you're looking at 99 cents to $1.73. So they're still, for the most part, holding $1 plus, $1.50 for the archons. They just refuse to just tank. Epics, 41 to 43 cents for the cheapest, up to 81 cents for Lucky Longshot. And then your legendary cards, Decrepit Windseer at 375 is the cheapest, up to Shenjiao at 1464. You can see here Zerx is at 850. And then the gold foil versions, so gold foil commons are 40 cents and up. And they are up to $1.53 a piece. Your rares start at 230. And then the gold foil rares, of course, go up to the archons. Wow, look at this. These have come down. Now you're down to 645 for Gorog, Kavor at under 8. This one is a very good one too. This one's under 10. The dwarf is at 1074, Razi at 1170, and Bella at basically 12. So yeah, these have come down. They're starting to get more affordable, even though the regular foils aren't dropping as much. Gold epics, 839, 841 for the cheapest, up to Lucky Longshot at just under $11. And then finally your gold legendaries start at $52, up to $148. All right, so now the fun part. Let's look at the black foils. So these are your commons, so 103 up to 300 for the black foil commons. Black foil rares, you're looking at 259 to 500. Your epics, there's only 4 available, 575 to just under $900. And then finally for the black legendaries, there are 2. And look at this, one of them, Zarin Scorch for 1710. So after the black, let's look at the gold arcane. So these are what, numbered to 50. So the commons, $77.77 to $350. The rares, $170 to $180. No epics and no legendaries. And then finally the black arcane. These are the only 2 on the market of any rarity. The Hucker at $569. This one is numbered out of 20, number 10 of 20. And then the other is a rare, and it is an Archon, which is awesome. And this one is numbered to 10. There's only 10 of these. You could own number 4 for 12 grand. All right, what's next? The promo cards. Once again, we went through all the promo cards in part 1. So here are your regular foil versions. So you can see the new card, the voucher card, Dar Gautam Gearnut, 2138. There are the gold versions that are available currently. Dar is at 209. Black foils, the only ones available are the Pickle for 285 and the Skinwalker for 575. The only gold arcane on the market is the Pickle for $177. And no black arcanes for sale. Alright, so let's finish this video up looking at foundations. Regular foil. Commons, no surprise probably, they're all a penny. The rares, main thing to look at is the Archons. So these have really come down, 14 to 35 cents. So very affordable now. To max these out, you only need 5 copies of each, or 5 copies, 25 copies of each. Your epics, 1 cent, 2 cents, all the way up to, well, this one has spiked in just since I did part 1. It was, I believe, 62 cents. Now it's up to $1.16. So Saltwater Mage is about the only one holding its value. Maybe Glimmermancer at 35. And then legendaries. Yep, these look the same as earlier. This came up a little bit. It was 250. Now it's selling for 270. Your gold foil versions, 5 cents to 41 cents for the commons. Your rares, 12 cents up to $7. And I am seriously thinking about going for the gold versions for my main account. Yep, especially for the cheap ones, because you only need 4. You need 4 of these to max out for gold, because I'm thinking then I can play these in the gold guild brawls. Yeah, I think I may do that in the not too distant future, but right now I'm concentrating on building up vouchers. So that will have to wait for now. So now the gold foil epics. Wow, it's so funny to see a gold foil epic under $1, but there it is. Saltwater Mage at 632, and then your gold legendaries, 325 up to $18 for the Scale Weaver. Okay guys, there you have it. There is the market watch for September 28th, 2025. So prices continue to slide on certain sets. Like I said, alpha for me, the big news was the gold foil. And look, since I have been doing the video, that one that was $8 disappeared. So someone got a good deal. Like I said just a few minutes ago, I think any of these, like 15 bucks or less, to be able to have a gold alpha card is pretty good. And then the rares have kind of really disappeared from the market. So if you're looking for some of the older sets, especially the gold cards, definitely check out Alpha. Hope you guys are doing well. Good luck in tomorrow's drawing for the Frontier raffle. That is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will be doing the drawing. 76 prizes will be given away. I will definitely be doing my video tomorrow morning, checking all 4 of my accounts to see if I got lucky this week. So fingers crossed. Then I will check the list, going through the entire list of winners, and hopefully I see your guys' name on the list tomorrow morning. So until then, stay the course, keep on frontiering, and have fun. Take care.